Unleashed champion reveals are finally here, and these reveals already tell us a lot about where this set might be going. Some of these look powerful, some look awkward, and some look like they could get out of hand fast. So in this video, I want to go through the Unleashed champion reveals we've seen so far, give my first reactions, and talk about which ones actually look strong. Obviously, these are still early takes, but there's already enough here to start getting a read on what Unleashed might actually be pushing. Alright, so first up we have Master Yi, because this is one of the cleaner build-around reveals we've seen so far. The big theme here is obviously experience scaling. From the reveal, Yi gets stronger as you hit different experience thresholds, and the payoff starts looking pretty serious. A new level mechanic is being revealed in Unleashed. It looks like units can earn XP by doing certain things like conquering or holding battlefields. At level 16, he can't be chosen by enemy spells and abilities. This kind of card is always worth paying attention to, because even if the exact shell isn't obvious yet, a champion that scales this hard usually ends up demanding some kind of real home. So my first reaction is that Yi looks less of a generic good card, and more like a card that you'd build your entire deck and your whole plan around. If the experience support is good enough, this could get scary fast. Alright, so next up we have Pyke, and this is one of the most immediately suspicious reveals. Paying energy, exhausting, bouncing a friendly unit from a battlefield to your hand, and creating gold is exactly the kind of text that makes people start trying to break it right away. Any card that turns repositioning or replaying your own stuff into extra value is the kind of thing that can get out of hand if there's enough support around it. As we can see, it already has that purple color. And that's really the point here. Pyke might not look obviously broken in a vacuum, but this is the kind of ability that gets much more dangerous the second the card pool gives it the right partners. My early read on this is, it looks like one of the most abusable looking champ reveals so far. Alright, so next up we have Ashe, and this looks incredibly annoying in one of the best ways possible. If the reveal text holds, Ashe lets you reveal your opponent's hand, banish a card, and then mess with it again when they hold. That's the kind of disruption that is always dangerous because it gives information, pressure, and weird timing leverage all at once. This feels like the kind of card that the strong players are going to love because it doesn't just hit resources, it messes with your planning. And cards that mess with planning tend to be better than they first look. Early read on this, very real, very annoying, and probably better than casual players will think. So next up we have Lillia. This one is really sneaky. It looks like it's going to be built around creating temporary units, as her ability lets her play a 3 might sprite token with temporary, costing 1 less for each other friendly unit with temporary. Her signature spell, Lidding Lullaby, looks absolutely irritating. Counter a spell, and then that player can't play spells for the rest of the turn? That's the kind of card text people are going to remember immediately. So even if Lillia herself ends up being more of an archetype piece than a standalone powerhouse, the package already feels real. Token support, plus a disgusting signature spell, is a very nice place to start. Early read, sleeper reveal with one of the most nasty looking signature spells so far in the game. So now let's talk about Kha'Zix. Kha'Zix looks straightforward, but in a good way. Gain experience when you win combat, then convert that experience into useful effects. That's exactly the kind of champion I'd expect aggressive or tempo players to look towards immediately. What I like here is that the card seems easy to understand and easy to imagine in real games. You attack, you pressure, you build XP, and then you start turning that into extra value. Those kinds of cards often end up being better than the flashy, complicated ones because the gameplay loop is just so clean. My early read on this, simple, dangerous, and probably one of the easiest champs to slot into a real plan. Alright, so then there's Diana, and this one feels more like a skill testing card than a raw power card. Adding energy specifically for showdowns through a reaction is the kind of effect that can create really awkward combat math and weird windows that your opponent has to respect. That doesn't always make a card instantly broken, but it does make it the kind of card better players are more likely to abuse. So yeah, Diana is not the flashiest reveal here, but I would not ignore it. Resource manipulation during combat is the kind of mechanic that can matter a lot once people start to understand it. Early read on this, harder to evaluate, but definitely not a throwaway reveal. Alright, so now we have Ivern, which might be one of the weirdest ones in the best way. I actually think I might play this one myself, it looks super fun. This is the kind of reveal that screams, new archetype! If the payoff is tied to having different tags and caring about specific unit types, that means Unleash is probably trying to open up a much more synergy-heavy lane than what a lot of people are used to. Ivern's legend says, when you conquer or hold, you may exhaust me to replace that battlefield with a brush battlefield token. Bird, cat, dog, Poro, and Ivern units have +1 in the brush. and it can be swapped back when scored. Ivern might end up being one of those cards that looks goofy at first, and then becomes very real once enough support exists. Cards like this are dangerous because people might dismiss them until somebody actually builds the shell right. Early read on this: highest weird archetype potential of the reveals so far. Alright, so now we have LeBlanc. LeBlanc says when you conquer or hold, you may discard one and exhaust me to play a ready reflection unit token there. It becomes a copy of another unit there. Give it temporary. Copying units with temporary reflection style effects is the kind of text that creates high ceiling nonsense if they're strong targets. Cards like this usually live or die on the surrounding pool, but when they're good, they get stupid quickly. Her signature spell, Mirror Image, lets you choose a unit and then play a ready reflection unit token to your base, becoming a copy of that unit with temporary. This seems insane. You could just copy your opponent's units whenever you want. So I would absolutely call this one of the highest ceiling reveals. This is the exact type of card people underrate until someone shows a disgusting interaction on camera. Early read, to me it seems like one of the strongest, but maybe one of the highest ceilings. So if I had to quickly rank the reveals by how much they stand out to me right now, I'd probably say the most immediately scary is Pyke. The most obviously build-around card is Master Yi. The most annoying seems like Ashe. The best sleeper pick looks like Lillia. The cleanest aggressive card looks like Kha'Zix. The weirdest archetype card goes to Ivern. And the highest ceiling, if supported correctly, is LeBlanc. Diana is probably the one that I feel least certain about right now, but that doesn't mean it's weak. It just feels like that it'll depend more on the context. So yeah, Unleashed is already starting to look way more interesting than just, here are some new champs. There are real archetype signals here, real resource manipulation, real tempo tools, and at least a few cards that look like they could become a problem if the surrounding support is good enough. And honestly, that's exactly what you want out of early reveals. Not just the cards that exist, cards that actually make people start asking what the format is about to become. So which Unleashed champion reveal do you think looks the strongest so far? And which one do you think people are overrating? If you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more Riftbound meta discussion, first reactions, and competitive takes. Thanks for watching.